Good morning, Dan. How are we?
Hi, John. Great.
Excellent. So one of the big things that salespeople have to work through is helping prospects make decisions that they otherwise wouldn't make that frequently involve change from the status quo. We all struggle with change on different levels, some a lot, some not so much, but to some degree. But change can actually get into that spot where people are almost fearful of it. And so it keeps them coming back to what they know and where they find comfort. So can you talk about when you recognize a prospect is struggling relative to a change or an adjustment or the newness of what you're proposing? How do you kind of work through that side of it and get them over the hump, so to speak?
Most people do not want to make changes. There is a certain percent of the population that loves change just for the sake of
change. Yep.
I'm one of those people. But most people don't. So how do you get someone to change? It starts with pain. You have to find pain. Allow me to relate a story on that. I want you to pretend that your wife said, John, I want you to go get a physical. You're like, I don't want to go get a physical. It takes time. It takes effort. It costs me money. I don't want to do it. But she talks you into it and you're like, all right, I'll do this. And you go there and you're so disinterested, right? And they run all these tests and it's painful. They're drawing blood. They're doing all this stuff. You're like, this is so stupid. Now, how much is this going to cost? And at the end of it, the doctor's looking at that x-ray thing, where they put that sheet up with your x-ray of your lungs and everything. And the doctor's looking at it and starts talking to himself. He's like, I'm not sure I like that right there. And he turns to you and says, might not be anything, but I'd like to bring you back for some more tests. And in that moment, you now have a blank check you're ready to write. Do whatever you need to do, doc, make me better.
Figure it out.
That's the key with pain. When you find the prospect's pain and it's strong enough for them to do something, they will do it. That's the key.
Yeah, and I think what's kind of interesting about that is too often we stop too early, meaning we start a conversation around that development of the pain or the opportunity that maybe they're missing out on, and we just give up too early. We don't do the extra x-ray or whatever in your analogy there that you're describing that's going to get us there. And we latch on to something and off we go. And then we wonder why they didn't want to change. In essence, you got to get to the root.
And there's where experience comes into play, because after a while, you know how much pain you need to get.
Yes.
You don't want to go too deep because then they'll never want to see you again.
Oh, right. You're not here to abuse them. I mean,
yeah. And you don't want to be too shallow because they won't do anything. There's that line, there's that fine edge in there, and experience comes into play. But you have, it's not manipulation. This is not a sales ploy. This is about a real life conversation saying, why in the world would you do anything differently than you're doing right now?
And in essence, that's that Goldilocks rule of find that sweet spot of not too far, not too shallow, and go get them.
I like it. The Goldilocks rule. I like
it. All right. See you again tomorrow.
Take care.